There are indigenous tribes that are out there that have said these skulls were found. Some of these skulls were found actually before they even got to where they are. Mm-hmm. The Mayans are one. There's some tribes in New Zealand, mm-hmm. some of the islands. There's a particular crystal skull called Synergy, mm-hmm. owned by the guardian Sherry Woodfield. Mm-hmm. Seems to be people believe it's a Lemurian. Mm-hmm. The energies are quite different. I've had an opportunity to hold that crystal skull. It's quite different. It's very different energies of what might be considered the Atlantean. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, these crystal skulls seem to be able to store information through time as recorders that of events that took place. According, again, back to Nick Nalcerino's work.
Let me stop you there. So we talk about like the fall of Atlantis, and and when Atlantis fell into the ocean, and if that really happened, do you believe that the crystal skulls actually kind of were like a recorder of that event?
Well, one of the things that's interesting is that in this particular event, one of our co-hosts there in New York is going to be an organization called the Edgar Cayce.
Oh, I did see that on the website.
Organization.
Yes.
As we all know, Edgar Cayce had lots of readings on Atlantis.
Right.
And he actually, has lots of readings that it's going to come back. We feel that some of the catastrophes that are possibly might happen in some of the areas that he describes is where actually these Atlantean temples will come back due to the catastrophes that are taking place for that information to come out because basically the Earth changes.
Because of the Earth changing.
Yeah.
Exactly. I know when you saw Pancho for the first time, you mentioned something to me about some feeling of Lemurian energy. Can you? Do you think that maybe Pancho might be tied in with Lemuria?
There's a researcher. His name is Dale Walker, mm-hmm. and Dale Walker's done more than anybody else. He's done some research on what they're calling the dolphin skulls.
The dolphin skulls.
Yes, and he has a couple of those.
Really?
And actually the frontal portion of the skull, the frontal portion, a little bit like Pancho, kind of comes forward. Yeah. Okay, and so those are considered Lemurian skulls.
That's so interesting, and I'm just I'm kind of a little taken aback by the dolphin skulls because as you know, I got this skull from my grandmother, and my grandmother's name was Delfina. Right. Which in Spanish means dolphin. That's kind of weird. So it seems like everything is just like so synchronistically connected, even with names and numbers and the people that are connecting and all the people that I've been connecting with Pancho and with you also. It's just everything's just like falling into place. Doesn't it seem like that to you?
Daily.
Daily. That's very, very, very
daily.
Interesting.
Pancho again. For those that haven't, had a chance to see Pancho yet, you might really want to, take the opportunity if you feel that connection to Pancho. Mm-hmm. Pancho, I believe, is going to play a bigger role in things that come forward.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you there. I also was talking to you earlier about certain people are attracted to Pancho. And you've had that experience even when you have, all the skulls together, that some people are attracted to one skull and not to another skull or to another skull and not to that skull. And I found it very interesting. You were talking about past lives, and maybe in past lives they had some experience with those skulls. Can you go a little bit into detail with that?
Sure. At the 090909 event in mm-hmm. Tempe, we saw that happen, that some people were really drawn. We had quite a great lineup of crystal skulls there, and some people were drawn to particular skulls for messages. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, I'll share this with your audience because on the way out here, I had a dream many years ago about I had been traveling somewhere in the desert, mm-hmm. and I can remember the landscape very well, and I had located an ancient crystal skull. And I had really forgotten about that for years until I basically did a deja vu mm-hmm. On the trip to come out and meet you and Pancho.
Oh, really?
And so it was a recall. It was just a really quick recall for me. Okay. So I think these things are stored away in our memory banks, and as they come forward, we think it's really new information, new knowledge, but actually it's stuff that's very old.
That's correct. That's correct. And, I totally appreciate all this insight and all this knowledge that you're giving us. I'm all about information, too. I live in the information age, right? And I find that people get a little bit scared about information. I've had people that I have wanted to work privately with Pancho, and I don't know. I just feel like they might not know how to attain that information or how to access that information. We have a couple of minutes left, and perhaps real fast, you can tell me and tell the audience what's the best way, or how's the best way to retrieve information for those that want information from a crystal skull or from Pancho or just from crystals?
Well, that's a really good question. We've had people that have shared a lot with us with the crystal skulls, and some have said, again, they before they may go to an event or actually see a crystal skull, they've already been dreaming that they've either met the skull, they got information, and there's a preparation process that takes place. And then once they come to one of the events or a private session to spend time with the crystal skull, they can set with that skull, and 20-30 minute session with the skull is a good thing to do, and to just set an experience in front of the skull, right, to see where that leads them.
Correct. There was an interesting thing that we talked about how the crystal skull is like a computer, and there's downloadable information, and it's also uploadable. And we talked about how the Mayan priests used to download the information into the skull, and then the younger shaman would retrieve that or upload that information. Can we do that? I mean, or do you have to be a shaman to do that, or anybody can pick up information?
Well, again,
and I get what you said about the attraction that some people have or the premonitions, but who do you have to be kind of like, or can it be just anybody?
Well, a lot of times I won't share any names. We've had people come to the event and come to different Crystal Skull events and maybe meet their wife there, their new wife while they were there. Uh-huh. They were there for one thing, and something else happened. It led them to something else.
Right.
So I think that you're doing some really good work, and I think the fact that you're open, you're open to it, and if you're drawn to these type of modalities of the healing modalities with crystals and crystal skulls, if you're open to that, then it'll start to work with you also.
Okay, cool. Well, we're being informed that we're running out of time now, and I just want to thank you so much, Kendall, for driving all the way up here from Tucson and being our first guest on our show. And I want to wish you luck with your New York event.
Thank you.
I think it's going to be awesome. And all your other ventures with the Crystal Skulls. What a wonderful calling to be the man that is going to bring them all together. I'm truly honored to have you on the show. And so thank you very much. And I just want to remind our audience that we are on the air now. We're going to be on every Friday at noon, and we hope that you join us. If you're interested in gaining some information, if you want to learn a little bit more about crystal skulls, or if you want to have a private meditation with Pancho, he is available. All you have to do is call me at 702-408-0897, and we can arrange a private session. If you'd like a group session, we are also available. If you have a house that you want us to come and share Pancho, and if you're in another city or another state, not Nevada, that's fine too. We can make some sort of arrangement. Be sure and visit us at www.panchocrystalskull.com. You'll have a lot of information there about our upcoming events and about the history of Pancho and about crystal skulls. And we're just very, very happy that you joined us today. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great, great, great day.